right, call hello, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone on Well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and blessings to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this, wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. Um, another special brought to you by TikTok. Um, we'll get a couple scriptures. I'll do a light commentary. This is nothing. This is really just a heads up kind of thing, and something to make you think, something that'll make you go, I wonder why, and I wonder who it's for. So I'll let it play. I'll talk here and there in between it, and then that'll be the video. Nothing too long, if that's what the Spirit says. So let's go.
Have now created something that looks like no ordinary robot. This robot can shape shift. What is shape shifting? Basically transform from solid to liquid states. Scientists at the China,
which is nothing more than the manipulation of the elements, which when you go to the beginning, you can look up GMS Genesis 1. I suggest you do that while you still have the chance. So the proper way to break this down in the Hebrew, and again, they broke this down extensively. There's no reason for me to reinvent the wheel or try to come up with something different and more clever. This was done very extensively, exhaustively. Just look it up, type it in, and you'll see. But it says in the beginning God created, but it says Elohim in there, and we know that there are no E's, no U's, no vowel points in the actual Hebrew. And when you look at that script, it is the Assyrian script for the Northern Kingdom, and they added vowel points unto that script when you look in the Blue Letter Bible. But it says Elohim would be proper. Allah meaning powers. Yum is the plural. The what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Not prefix. Either way, the yum in a word makes it plural, so those are powers, those are the angels. And when you go into talking about those who Yahweh that Yahweh gave from the beginning, from the foundation of the earth, that was those hopeful elect, or that is the hopeful elect of today. Those are those men. We are pretty much, I say we humbly, I hope I'm one of the elect or one of the believers or something. I have faith that I was there, and those of you that are listening and learning in sincerity and in truth, that you were too. Um, what they did was manipulate the elements in order to create the things that you see to this day. And this devil can't do anything without what's already there. They can't do anything without what Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, or through Yahweh's blueprint. They can't do anything without what's already been created. So you bear that in mind. They are not creators. They are manipulators of what is already there.
Chinese, Hong Kong and American universities worked on the study. They created the robot using a composite of metals with a low melting point. This is the first time a material that can shift shape and carry heavy loads has been identified for microbots. It is a major breakthrough because it makes it possible to combine shape shifting and strength in the design of the robots.
So not only have they achieve nuclear fusion, which you look that up. Nuclear fusion, basically, it's just continuous energy. So nuclear fission is the opposite, but nuclear fusion they have achieved it. Now they have achieved these AI, and now they have these robots that are obviously can shapeshift, which is interesting because I had a dream a while back. I don't really go into my dreams. I don't get the spirit doesn't really give me an inkling for that. But I did have a dream that I was able to dematerialize, and materialize through walls, through trees, through solid objects. So this is Esau Edom standing with his enchantments. This is them coming full force with their blessing. They have full faith in their left-handed powers and their left-handed blessing. Because remember, according to Genesis 27, they by the sword shalt thou live. So this is going to be something that's weaponized. And who do you think is for? And they'll go into it a little bit more. Well, let's let it go.
When the robot transforms into liquid, it can merge, it can also be elongated, meaning it can also slide through the bars, like you see here. and then it can turn solid.
Go.
They're the same picture.
But this invention means it can benefit mankind. They can morph shape, they can move pretty fast, it can be used to reach spaces that are usually tough to get to. It can be used.
Right. The operative word would be can benefit mankind, but will it? No. Why? Because Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. This devil knows nothing but to steal, to kill, and destroy. I said it before, I'll say it again. Everything he touches turns to shit.
Used in clinical settings, biomedicine. It also means the robots can jump, climb. The possibilities are endless.
The second shot is effective, exposing Karatis to another attack.
As you can see, you have the scripture here, Second Esdras. I believe this is one of the men of GMS. Probably I followed him on TikTok, so this is from mine. I'll read it. Second Esdras 16, verse 70 to 71. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Right. So this is for us. Make no mistake about it. You know how they tell they what goes into the sword is their propaganda, and they'll say it's for one thing and it'll be for another. And understand that when you have AI in charge, or when you program AI, somebody has to write that code before it learns. The code has to be written. So before AI picks up anything and learns trends, somebody wrote that code. And if somebody, you know who is writing the code and how they're writing the code. So whatever bias that uh, a man would have, a cop would have, or a regular person would have, that that AI is going to have that same bias, but you're not going to be able to reason with it. Just like you can't reason with a wild Edomite, you're not going to be able to reason with a logical computer system that only understands ones and zeros.
This is not a scene from a Transformers movie. It's an actual battle of robots. Look at this, how these two giant heavily armed robots take on each other.
He's firing.
Those 6 barrels can fire up to 2,000 rounds per minute. That could easily take out Eagle Prime's cameras.
And they can
Okay, some of these guns that are on these robots are on airplanes. So think of, and I'm pretty sure that this devil, in perfecting his weapons, that he will find a way to put a bigger gun on a bigger robot. And we're talking, if you know what an A10 Warthog is, look up the A10 and look at the weapon system that's on the A10. I'm pretty sure if they don't have it already, they're going to put it on there. Let's read the bottom scripture that this brother has here. Those who fear the Father, Yahweh, are those who have faith in him. That's Mark 11 and 22. And believe in the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, John 14 and 6. These will be the righteous Israelites. So that's going to be your black, your natives, and Latinos, and some Gentiles from other nations, right? And when it says Gentiles from other nations, those are just the the Israelites who don't look like Israelites, because according to the scriptures, you can go and type in scattered in your blue letter Bible, and you will see that we were scattered from the four corners of the earth. And the Lord also says, roughly paraphrased, that he will gather his people from the four corners. He will gather his elect from the four corners of the earth. So that's another thing. If you don't have the understanding on that there, you can type it in. GMS elect scattered. Just type it in. Okay? Do it while you have the chance. Do it while you have the open airways of the internet. Okay, so let's see. The righteous will resist draconian laws harder than anyone else. Yeah, so because we're going to have to step out on faith. So you only, the Bible tells you to agree with your enemy or agree with your adversary, but only to a certain extent. At some point, agreement is going to cross the line of transgression against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And, we ought to fear the Lord rather than men, roughly paraphrasing. So it's going to be incumbent that we really strengthen and exercise that faith muscle, that prayer and belief in He is, in Him, because He is, right? And He always has used a man to save us. And this time it is Yahweh Shai, but He won't be returning as a man. And I wonder, why do they need all of this? Because they know these elites, they understand. Elijah outran a chariot, called down fire from heaven, and outran a chariot. Look at all the feats that Samson has done. Let's see. Let's do uh battles. Let's type that in. But he killed a bunch of men with a jawbone of an ass by himself, soloing armies. Let's see, Judges 15 through 21. Uh, so yeah, he was fighting the Philistines. Well, it's too hard to find certain accounts, but oh, here we go to verse 14. So he came to Lehi and the Philistines and came out shouting to meet him. Then the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him, and that is the key point I want to kind of hone in on. The Spirit of the Lord is going to rush upon certain brothers, and that is why they need the technology that they need. So of course they're going to use it on each other because historically that's what they do. These Edomites, they fight each other. Look at how they battled. Well, they called themselves the Greeks, but the original Greeks were Japhetic people. But the so-called Greeks, because they took over that land. Um, they was a bunch of infighting there. There was a bunch of infighting and backstabbing in Rome. That's just what they do. They're brute beasts. And he found a fresh jawbone of a donkey and put out his hand and took it, and with it he struck 1,000 men. Now I want you to just think about if you wrestled one man. I don't know if any of you are into martial arts. I thoroughly enjoy them, but if you're not to be in condition to fight is a special type of conditioning. Now, if you wrestled one person for 2 minutes, I guarantee you your heart rate is going to be close to 190, 200. You're going to be gassed and you're going to be winded. He slew 1,000 men. That is spiritual power. There are so many different accounts of spiritual power. Where do you think that I believe Moab is Japan. Where do you think these men that write these anime, these manga, where do you think they get the inspiration? I'm telling you, the truth is stranger than fiction, and that is why. So this devil is operating in full force in his left-handed power, but majority of Jake is still walking around with their head freshly secured up their ass.
Can switch to modern weapons as well. This is just one example of how dangerous robots can get.
Karatis keeps unloading on Eagle Prime relentlessly.
What's even more worrying, killer robots, also known as lethal autonomous weapon systems, are now here. Let's first understand how deadly they could be. AI-powered robots are now emerging as weapons of war. They are themselves decision makers. These systems have the ability to navigate on their own. They can use
Go figure. They're weapons of war. They could make AI say, of course he's not righteous, but say this man was righteous. You could make AI robots to plant trees in certain places where they screwed up the earth, right? Or make machines to filter the water or do something good. All he knows is death and war. But that's okay because you're going to get all the death and all the war that you could ever want because according to the scriptures it says to render unto him double. Oh, fubble. I believe it says it in there more than once. No, it doesn't. So we'll go Revelation 18 and 6. All right, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup which she has filled, fill unto her double. And I'm pretty sure there are so many things that this devil has done to us as a nation, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, that critical race theory can't even cover it. But that's okay, because a part of that spiritual power is knowing, going to be able to see all the things that he's done. And that righteous anger of the Lord, because remember, he's going to get vengeance on Edom by my people Israel. Let's see. Or I will exact my anger. How does it? Let me see. Okay, let's see. And that ain't just for them, that's for all the heathen. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith Yahweh power. That's Ezekiel 25 and 14. That's what I was looking for. All right, let's let this roll.
Artificial intelligence to identify a target. These machines can select whom to kill. Interestingly, they can do all of that without any human intervention.
Are you username ladiesman217?
I don't know what you're talking
Are
about.
you username ladiesman217?
Yeah?
Where is the eBay item 21153? Where are the glasses?
What's even worse, these lethal autonomous weapon systems can take the form of drones, tanks, and even submarines. It's not just one company or country that is developing such dangerous robots. Several nations are investing in the technology to develop lethal weapons. So far, countries such as Israel, Russia,
Of course.
and South Korea have reportedly deployed weapons with autonomous capabilities, though it's disputed whether the autonomous mode has ever been active. The Netherlands has become the first NATO country to deploy armed ground robots. They, however, have currently been deployed for experimental use.
Okay, and when you say when experimental use, you know that means it's on other less fortunate brown nations when it's experimental use. Just know that. They're not doing harmless exercises. They're screwing up somebody's land. They're screwing up other families. They're doing something to cause death and destruction in the earth. What a perfect devil. What a perfect adversary. Call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. If the Lord can make something so perfectly evil, you know on the right hand side how perfect we, and I say that humbly through faith, how perfect we are going to be on the right. Because we shall be like him. We shall be like Yahweh Shai. And remember, he said he ain't coming as a man. So there's some interesting things we're about to see popping off pretty soon in the near future. And I pray that I keep the faith, and I pray that you as well keep the faith, and that we hold strong and hold fast no matter what, all the way to either the bitter or the sweet end. But I guess it's all a sweet end if you know the scriptures.
It's believed that Australia, Britain, China, and the United States are also investing heavily in developing such lethal robotic weapons. The bigger concern here is that once these technologies have been widely adopted, it will be difficult to control them. Those who possess this technology could enjoy advantage over those who don't. Also, the development of killer robots raises profound ethical and safety questions. Such autonomous weapons raise risks for civilians, pose problems for accountability, and increase the chances of conflict escalation. What's even scarier is that there are no compelling laws to regulate if things go wrong.
These robots defuse bombs. They give police a closer look at an active crime scene. And now,
As you can see, it's Revelation 12 and 12 on the screen if you're not looking.
It passes unanimously.
San Francisco's police force will have the ability to use them as potential lethal force options. But that decision wasn't made lightly. We heard passionate arguments and clarifications coming from both sides.
You got to recognize they will be disproportionately used against black and brown communities.
Bingo.
A new state law now requires law enforcement to have public discussions when acquiring and utilizing military-grade weapons. That's what happened here. And the plan passed only after an amendment clarifies robots would only be used as a lethal option after the use of alternative force and de-escalation tactics, or if police determine they are not able to subdue the threat safely after evaluating other options.
Right. How do you evaluate other options? How do you determine it is not safe to do X, Y, Z? What is the deciding factor to deploy the machines? They can't even get addresses right when they raid homes. So, like I said, we're moving into interesting times. And apparently they know something that those of us who believe also know, but everyone else will be oblivious to. So, hey, you see it. It's coming. All of these things are lining up just as Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai said they would according to his word that is written in the book. Okay? So again, whatever you lack, James 1 and 4, you better ask it and believe. And I'm talking to myself too. Because it's, boy, yeah, we gonna see. All right, so shalom.